U.S. intelligence agency mind control.
I really need to be able to delete what we were just looking at. I just never know what's going on and where we're jumping to.
A lot of them were from Stream, Gaza, and I think Trump and Biden, maybe.
Just warning yet about the state of the war against Russia
Globe as well.
without military aid from the United States.
If Congress does not help Ukraine, Ukraine will lose the war. And we need to find a public format for this. If Ukraine loses the war, other states will be attacked.
Volodymyr Zelensky also says Russia will soon be, quote, more and more insistent on dragging nuclear weapons.
Did you?
Huh?
You added more stuff to Globe?
I might have just changed the sorting of the list to try and find out where stuff is.
Into his debate. Meanwhile, the head of the U.S. House Intelligence Committee says Russian propaganda has absolutely spread through Congress, particularly among some of his Republican colleagues. A number of hardline House conservatives have refused to back a $95 billion aid package, which includes $60 billion in assistance for Ukraine.
Joining me now from Vienna is Fran Sefgadi, an Associate Fellow at the International Institute for Strategic Studies. I mean, it was very clear language, wasn't it, from President Zelensky?
But it's you know what I really don't care about? CNN analysts.
There is nowhere safe in Kharkiv these days. Russian bombs, kamikaze drones and missiles can strike anywhere and at any time in Ukraine's second largest city.
I was standing by the window. Shards of glass injured my face. I fell on the floor. My wife gave me first aid. We came outside and it was complete hell.
Neighbors and friends comfort each other. They make temporary repairs to their wrecked homes. But there is mounting fear of increasing Russian attacks involving what ballistic experts say are repurposed Soviet weapons. The so-called glide bomb, fired by a jet fighter out of range of most of Ukraine's air defenses. People in this neighborhood say there is no strategic or military site here. There are attacks like these happening day and night across Kharkiv city and the wider region. And for every attack...
The best part about all of this is all of this comes out, all of this footage is here, all of this proof, and people still defend Russia.
Yeah, well, even people who live Congress here is weakened by their propaganda at this point.
Yeah.
Is growing. And there's rising anger among some residents who accuse the authorities of not doing enough to protect them. I won't touch him, shouts this man to the mayor of Kharkiv's bodyguards. Are you telling me to fight? He asks the mayor. You go fight. Because I remember on the day of the invasion, you were just planting flowers. You now just sit in cafes drinking.
Once again, there are explosions in Kharkiv, and that's why people are so distressed. We need air defense. We have to close the skies.
Yeah, and like
the cities.
In our little group, that like our Ukrainian inside group. Oh, Johnny Jizzo just joined. I just looked over. The best part of the show. What side? What side, bro? What side?
Please
tell
us.
One side.
Yeah, you're not coming on the show
You
again.
can come on Friday when we're doing fun stuff. You can come on Fridays, Johnny. But yeah, in our Ukrainian group, information group, like some, they'll be talking about how they're like getting like sirens all the time, and it's like you ask if they're okay, and they're like, yeah, I don't live in Kharkiv. Yeah, they're like, I'm safe in the capital, right? Says it all, bro. Friday, show up tomorrow. You tell me how I'm one-sided. Later, see you tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday, 2 days from now. Later, bye, Johnny Jizzo.
See ya.
All
Bye.
one-sided.
I thought you said you were going. Bye. Goodbye.
See you tomorrow, or next
Friday.
stream on Friday.
Bye. Anyway. So it's just Kharkiv that they're peppering.
I mean, like, this is like a city that's been on the verge, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
like they occupied it, you know, like, and like this is like they called it the meat grinder in the early war, right? Because so many people were like getting killed defending there.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a really heavy conflict, but it's also on the border in the north, right?
Yeah.
So like when they do the ops into Belgrade and stuff, that's like they're
It's
kind
their
of like
staging point.
that's the region they're launching over the border from.
Yes. Okay. So Russia's not very happy at Kharkiv.
Well, I mean, it's they think that they can take it because it's still like there's still a lot of people who speak Russian there, you know,
Sure. Yeah.
because it's very eastern, but it's very
Mm.
northeastern.
Yeah.
But
Smoke
yeah,
rises from
we're
more burnt
most
out.
of the city that's probably been bombed the most
Mm-hmm.
in the war.
Guys,
Across the city, smoke rises from more burnt out homes, destroyed this time by an intercepted Russian kamikaze drone. The remnants of people's lives broken and scattered in the dirt. The charred remains of an animal, a pet, maybe. 67-year-old Galina sifts through the rubble of her home. She moved to Ukraine from Belarus almost 50 years ago. Shock. Nothing else but shock, she cries. Hopelessness. I don't know what to do. I live alone. What can I do? Russia says it doesn't deliberately target civilians, and it's trying to hit Ukraine's strategic and energy infrastructure in revenge for Ukrainian attacks across the border.
Revenge.
Revenge. Didn't you start this? Funny.
Well,
Funny how
now
you can
Ukraine
be
invaded
aware of
them with
victims
their
all way.
jihadis.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't you heard? They're from ISIS.
Yeah, of course.
You know, this guy was an ISIS jihadi in Syria, and now he's bombing Belgrade. America is actually created
At fault.
ISIS.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
well,
course. It's all
America,
America's fault.
that's why ISIS doesn't attack Israel or any American allies, because it's actually America. It's all fake.
Uh-huh. Islamic State of the United States of America.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I mean, Trump even said it. Obama
Isusa.
created ISIS.
Isusa.
Words for the people of this city, many of whom, like Galina, are terrified and struggling to cope. Charles Strafford, Al Jazeera, Kharkiv.
Great audio for the ending. That was excellent. That was really fucking good.
Oh, what? It came in on the tone?
No, look.
Are terrified and struggling to cope. Charles Strafford, Al Jazeera, Kharkiv.
Excellent.
Yeah, the tone.
Really good. No. Fuck the tone. I'm not talking about the fucking tone.
Oh, just her crying, actually.
Yes.
You're not being sarcastic.
No, fuck the
Okay.
tone. I'm talking about her. Like, that's a
Yeah.
perfect way to end that story.
Mhm.
You couldn't have done it any better.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is calling for stronger air defenses in the northeastern region of Kharkiv after a Russian missile attack today killed 6 people and injured 11 more. This week, NATO allies agreed to look for more air defense systems to send to Ukraine. Let's talk more about this with our next guest, CNN's military analyst, Cedric Leighton, a retired colonel in the U.S. Air Force. Colonel Leighton, it's always great to have you on. Right now, Ukraine is short on troops and ammunition. Is there an opportunity to win on the battle? Is there opportunity to win on the battlefield slipping away?
Well, Jessica, it's good to be with you, and it's pains me to say this, but yes, if the Ukrainians don't get the aid that they need, it's going to be a real problem for them because.
Okay, I don't care.
At least 8 people are dead and 10 others wounded following 2 Russian strikes on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv on Saturday, regional officials said. Ukraine's national police said the attack was launched by drones, while regional officials said Russian forces used missiles and bombs. Kharkiv's mayor said residential areas were hit, including high-rise buildings and a gas station. The first strike occurred just after midnight, according to news reports, while a second took place later in the afternoon. This local resident said the explosion woke her up. The fuel station was on fire, she said, adding, "They yelled at me, get out. I I stood there and stared. Only later I walked out. There was another explosion and everything started falling. Located in the northeast, Kharkiv has been a frequent target of Russia's assault, with attacks intensifying in recent weeks. Air raid alerts could be heard across the capital Kyiv and remained in effect for Kharkiv and most of the country following the strikes. Ukraine's military said its air defenses destroyed 28 of 32 drones and 3 of 6 missiles launched by Russia. It follows deadly strikes on Friday in the southern city Zaporizhia. Local officials said Russia fired 2 missiles, then 40 minutes later, fired another 3.
He's got this fucking mad lad with the camera just standing there not giving a fuck.
On Friday in the southern city Zaporizhia.
Yep, done to give a
said Russia fired 2 missiles,
fuck.
then 40 minutes later, fired another 3 as first responders and journalists were on the scene. 2 journalists covering the aftermath of the strikes were among those wounded in the city, which is near the front line in the war with Russian forces. In the east, Ukrainian forces on Saturday said they are still in control of the town of Chasiv Yar. Russia's RIA news agency released a report earlier, citing Russian forces as saying they had entered the suburbs of the town. Ukraine's military said the report was untrue. Russian forces are inching forward in eastern Ukraine after capturing Advika in February. Kyiv soldiers are trying to strike in the Ukrainian city of...
Okay, we saw that.
On March 27th, the United Nations released its latest report on the human rights situation in Ukraine. The report documented crimes and violations by both warring sides, most of which were committed disproportionately by the invading Russian troops. Russia's RIA Novosti state news agency admitted Russian crimes, reporting only that 13 Russian POWs interviewed by UN officials claimed the Ukrainian captors tortured them during interrogation. RIA Novosti described the United Nations report as the UN report on the torture of Russian prisoners of war in Ukraine. That is misleading. The UN stated that the Russian military's invasion and occupation of parts of Ukraine have been accompanied by serious violations of international human rights and humanitarian law. Russian shelling of Ukrainian territory from December 2023 to February 2024 led to 1,800...
Okay, this is just numbers. I don't care.
At the latest NATO meeting in Brussels
today, allies have
like I'll listen to an American propaganda like proper news story, but if you're just spewing numbers at me like a tanky, fuck off.
Agreed to move forward with planning for a greater NATO role in coordinating security assistance and training. The details will take shape in the weeks to come. But make no mistake, Ukraine can rely on NATO support now and for the long haul.
Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg proposed a fund of $107 billion over 5 years. In the meantime, NATO's military support has been crucial. A year ago, NATO members Poland and Slovakia transferred the majority of their MiG-29 fighter jets to Ukraine. Colonel Yevhen Bulatzik, the veteran, F-15 fighter jets to Ukraine.
It fucking is.
An F-15?
Yeah, cheeky cunts. Look at that. Right there, an F-15.
Send it. Send it.
Send all of them.
Send it. Bro,
imagine if they sent them F-15s. They would shit. They would just wipe the floor with them.
Not to sidetrack too much, but I had to launch Helldivers because the planet is about to be taken in like 4 minutes, right? Like it's at 99% right now and just sitting there. It doesn't tick up from 99%. It just goes to 100 after that, right? So there's 3 hours left in the mission order. It's 3 hours and 4 minutes, and the clock here says 4 minutes will be taken. So they know the servers so well that they know enough players are going to play the game and focus on these planets that it will just be enough to make it within the window they set.
That's hilarious.
Like literally on the dot, like the leftover time is 4 minutes there, and it's also 4 minutes on the fucking algorithm I have.
Colonel Yevhen Bulatsyk, the veteran commander of the Air Force's 7th Tactical Aviation Brigade, says Western supplies have allowed them to modernize their aging fleet.
What our Western partners provided has been put to effective use. These weapons offer a longer range and are far more accurate and efficient than the Soviet models. We hope that the combination of both gives us a fighting chance for survival and perhaps even victory.
Once Ukrainian jets are adopted to carry Western weapons systems, they become an effective platform for striking targets.
Send that right there. Send that. Keep going. Fly it to Ukraine.
What was that? That was a tornado, right?
I'm not sure. So. You tell me.
I'm pretty sure it was.
What are they using for trainers?
Maybe a tornado. Let me.
It's
like a very obscure British plane.
Is it a trainer?
No, it's yeah, RAF. Okay, so yeah, okay, British.
Send it.
I'm pretty sure this is the plane. Let me. It's swept wing, apparently. Apparently, it's swept wing.
It looks like it had adjustable.
An effective platform for striking targets.
That's a MiG.
Colonel Bulatsyk emphasized the need for more ammunition and expressed hope for the swift arrival of F-16 planes in Ukraine.
The integration of Western aircraft capabilities with our existing fleet will provide us with enhanced opportunities for effective countermeasures against the Russian Federation's air forces.
Veteran pilot Andriy, who prefers not to disclose his last name for security reasons, was a civilian pilot before the war. He made his final flight on an Airbus only 4 days before the full-scale invasion. Now he flies military missions daily.
The vast majority of our flights today is
It might be a MiG-27.
For using cruise missiles like Storm Shadow, Scalp PG, and actually we are looking for Taurus, and because it's more useful, it's modern, precise weapon that help us to strike the more precious.
Pilot and commander expressed confidence that with
we're looking at a
supplies, they will be able to alter the situation on the front line.
They all want to know. They're all asking about the Hell Dive, bro.
I'm still trying to figure out what this plane is.
Any second now, this is going to change to 100%. Still hasn't, though.
Oh, we're not watching.
I actually, hot take, I don't think the government in Helldivers is fascist. I talked about it with Jack, and I proposed theories, and I said things, and he agreed with me.
Go on, explain it.
It's like it's its own thing. It's like to take how communists take it to the extreme and how fascists take it to the extreme. They took it to that level of extremism, so they're just as bad as those things, but they're doing it through liberalism. So they're like a super like satiric extremist liberal type of thing.
Okay, I finally figured out what this plane is. It's an Su-24. It's a Sukhoi. They have swept wing as well, but they have this thin intake with the wings set really back on the fuselage.
On the front line.
We need all kinds of assistance, weapons, finances, and ammunition. Some can offer weapons directly or everything urgently. We're not seeking handouts. We're willing to take
Sounds a lot like neoconservative. Yeah, so it's like that's like it still has that like like Thatcherism, like Thatcherism and Reaganism. Like they were totally like just bomb them. You know, we have capitalism and bombs, but they're not. They don't talk about capitalism, only democracy, right? Oh, they're talking to me. They just said something about the democratization of the known universe. It changed. It literally just changed the order now completed. I just wanted to. The only reason I did this is because I wanted to see if it gives me the medals right away. Because the last orders that completed, it took like a few hours for the medals to come in. It did. Cool. Now, hopefully, my computer doesn't crash while I try to quit the game.
22nd terrorist attack on Crocus City Hall killed 145 people and injured hundreds. It's the deadliest attack in Russia in 20 years. Russia blamed the U.S. and Ukraine, despite specific U.S. intelligence shared with Russia of an impending attack by ISIS Khorasan, and that group having claimed responsibility after the attack. Nick Schifrin is back now with a look at what a U.S. warning and Russia's subsequent unfounded accusations say about the U.S.-Russia relationship and Russia's intelligence services.
Well, like the thing
Before
is,
the band could take
like
the stage, what was
when
supposed
we
to be a
say
rock
it's
concert
fascism, right?
became
Like
a living nightmare.
me and Jack also say that communists, like Russia and shit, were fascist.
Those they didn't slaughter, they tried to burn alive.
Jack, you're leaving people getting massacred by terrorists on the screen and walking away. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Who are frightened, who are now maybe dying. This is pretty hard to ever forget.
Efim Fedra bought tickets for the rock group picnic to celebrate his wife Olga's birthday.
It's my bad. I didn't expect them to fucking put it on the screen.
Anyway.
Yes, they were fascist.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that if we're measuring on that metric, then yes, it is. But I think Starship Troopers is more direct on with the fascism. Like, but just how communists, how communists talk about shit about how it's actually liberation and freedom and equality and shit, and then they do massacres. Like that's what I feel like is like more what's going on here. It's more of a critique of liberalism than being like, haha, they're actually fascist, but they talk about democracy. Like I think it's like a flipped type of liberalism. Like, it has like influences of Thatcherism in there too, like all that neoconservative type stuff. But I don't feel like it's more left wing or more right wing. I feel like it's like a centrist liberal, like the like ultra centrist, the anti-drag, as you will.
Also, if it's on PBS and on YouTube, it'll be fine.
The shooting started as they arrived.
Who knows?
We headed toward the entrance.
Why would you zoom in?
On killing people, bro?
Why would you fucking zoom in?
Well, the guy filming, great job.
Someone was praying. Someone
Let's
was
not
calling
cover
their
this.
loved
Let's move
ones,
on from this.
screaming
PBS is too
emotionally
reckless
to get
with
us
our
out of
YouTube
there.
already. We know it happened.
NATO foreign ministers marked the 75th anniversary of
Nice,
the
boring
Alliance's
NATO
foundation
news.
Thursday, but the birthday celebrations were
And a
muted.
birthday cake being
Despite
cut. This
NATO
is great.
support
Right?
for
This is what I'm talking
Ukraine,
about. This is
Russia
the type of news
continues
we
to
have the
make
platform thanks to YouTube. We could change this, we could change this, and it's definitely changing already because we're already looking at StreamYard and multi-streamers and stuff, taking away the centralization on YouTube away from their power and really actually making independent media. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get money for an NGO. We're going to partner with unions. We're going to protect independent journalists from coming up, from getting taken over by corporate interest and working for nothing. And they call it exposure, but they work you like a fucking slave at BuzzFeed. Remember that?
Yeah, making them understand their value and that they don't have to work for shit and produce garbage for money. Like you can have principles and work in the industry. You don't need to sell your soul to these fucking companies.
Drama, chinchilla drama. Anyway, here's Junk to tell you more.
We might have people watching this show, but you can be the difference maker because we just need our audience to be paid members, and then this show can be around forever. So you can make that difference. Click join now.
Battlefield gains and continues to rain down missiles and drones on Ukraine's cities. 4 people were killed and dozens injured in this attack on the eastern city of Kharkiv. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg gave a sobering assessment as the alliance meeting closed Thursday.
The situation on the battlefield remains serious. Ukraine needs more air defenses, more ammunition, and more aid. And
also,
therefore allies will now go back.
To sidetrack again with something that's not news, I was showing Jack earlier that the opening cinematic interracial couple Clearly not fascist.
And look into their inventories, look into if there are any ways they can provide more systems, in particular Patriots.
Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba appealed to NATO allies to give that aid and made a specific request for American-made Patriot air defense missiles.
Saving Ukrainian lives, saving Ukrainian economy, saving Ukrainian
cities. Yeah, but what is YouTube
depends
going to do?
the...
Tell the government media that they can't show that?
Yeah, that's one way to get regulated.
Availability of Patriots and other air defense systems in Ukraine, and we're talking about Patriots.
Awful lot of honkies.
I mean, surely if we get that NGO status, YouTube can't really say, well, you can't do that.
I mean, they can, like, yeah, you'll still be victim to, like, the system sucks, but the thing is like, you know, if you also have Twitch, go sub on Twitch, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if YouTube eventually, like, bans us, like, from YouTube, like, we'll lose some of the audience who won't migrate to another platform just for it, but, like, that's the whole point of taking it into multi-stream.
Yeah.
Like, that's the new meta, right?
I mean, it just makes sense.
Did you watch that How to Be a Streamer video that Ludwig made?
I haven't yet, no.
That's one of the things that he's talking about is, like, he thinks that that's also, like, it's different now.
Oh, it definitely is. The time of platforms paying streamers to be exclusive is done.
Oh, no, they'll still have that.
No, like, of course they will. Like,
but
there'll
I
be
just
people
don't think the best way is to commit to one platform anymore.
Yes, yeah.
System that can intercept ballistic missiles. And only in March, Ukraine was hit with 94 ballistic
missiles. And look, we wouldn't have all this censorship
Congress.
if fascists would just behave in the first place. We ever think of that? Just like if Cuba, you wouldn't have the sanctions if you weren't commie in the first place. Dissolve the government, right? Same thing. They're reactionary policies of censorship.
Yeah.
A military aid package for Ukraine worth around $60 billion. Speaking in Brussels Thursday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken urged lawmakers to vote for the bill.
We know what the needs are: air defenses, artillery, munitions. So
Okay, I'm bored. This one. I want to say this one.
Right thing to do. Yeah, simple as.
This is how a 30-year-old ex.
I could see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
He has nothing left.
At least he's fighting on Ukraine's side, I guess.
Yes.
U.S. Marine Wolfgang Hegarty explains his decision to volunteer for Ukraine's armed forces in the summer of 2022. Hegarty grew up in California.
The summer of 22. It was pretty much just after it started. It was October, right? Of 22 when it started?
No. It was early in the year.
February, wasn't it? February. Yeah, okay.
Because it's my chinchilla's birthday.
Yes.
The other one is birthday
Feb
is at the end of the year.
Okay, so February, so it's 7 months. 7-8 months. And he decided to go and join. I wonder whether they'll get into why. What was the trigger?
Yes,
I'm very curious.
California. He's third-generation professional member of the U.S. military and served as a U.S. Marine for 5 years.
You know, I wasn't infantry. I was a pogue.
Hang on. Go back to the picture of all the censored people, and I want you to tell me what country's in, because it's obvious to me. Oh, maybe not. I thought they were. I thought they were wearing. Those are the total infantry covers. I thought they were Pakul caps.
Oh,
so
I'm not sure.
I could not tell you what country that is.
It's not like
if they were Pakul caps, I forgot that the Marines, you can't just wear anything on your head like that. You know.
You know, and nothing really compares to Ukraine. You know, you never, in the Mideast, nobody ever had to sit under constant artillery barrage for hours on end.
Hegarty took part in the liberation of Kharkiv and Mykolaiv regions in the fall of 2022 as a volunteer member of Ukraine's armed forces.
There you go, bro.
He's currently fighting in an air reconnaissance.
He helped liberate that city.
Cool. Good for him.
Unit in the Donbas
That was like the
region.
big gain. Like,
yes,
everyone woke up one day and Russia lost massive amounts of territory.
Yeah.
On both sides, north and south.
Kind of a nerd, and just kind of fell in my lap. I was working with Kraken, but kind of alongside them outside of Balaclava, and I saw their drone units operating and thought to myself, holy, this is the way of the future, you know?
Wolfgang says he has lost 2 of his best friends on the battlefield. In September 2023, U.S. volunteer Jericho Megalon, who went by call sign Shepherd, was killed in the Donbas region while accompanying the Ukrainian squad of recruits as a military instructor. Megalon was 28 years old. A few days earlier, Hegarty lost another close friend, 22-year-old British volunteer Samuel Newey. Despite this, Hegarty says he doesn't feel hatred towards the enemy.
I'm a Christian, and on top of that, whether you're religious or not, I think that those kinds of emotions are would drive things like this war to last a long time, and also drive people to do horrible things to each other.
This is not what I expected.
True American.
It's very interesting.
True American.
After a short break in
That's
Kyiv,
the
where
type of shit you'll hear from American vets, and not other vets. You know, you go ask somebody who fought in the Syrian war, they don't have nice things to say like that. But you ask any American, you know, because this is something that they had to kind of distill in themselves because of Iraq. To make it not personal what they were doing.
Yeah.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?